presentatore che ruba le... No, non le ruba, semplicemente... Allora, io ho bisogno... No, è un microfono, è diverso da quello.
Quello è il trasmettitore e gli altri ricevitore.
Allora, posso trovare una sedia dove? Qua?
Mi serve una sedia più qua c'è.
C'è?
Sì, a cambiare solo il
Certo,
colore.
mille.
Sempre io, posso chiedervi una cosa, mi fate vedere i sottopancia perché sono...
Io ne ho uno, Marco Di Buono.
Tutti gli altri da giù. Ho detto che gli altri...
Come sei? Io 3
Ma no, vabbè, si alternano. Come chiedo come si vogliono organizzare.
Siamo organizzati in 15 minuti, questi cambiamenti.
Ma mo sono così. 3 persone solo possono stare là sopra.
Posso stare lì, ma io ho 3 cose. Si passano un po'.
Vabbè, sì. O facciamo...
Ma chi è che sta seduto? Uno solo?
Allora, mi sa che uno... cioè, a me mi ha detto ci sarebbe stato solamente uno e che avrebbe presentato tutto, mentre sono 6 e non so come vogliono organizzarsi.
Poi mi devi dire chi è.
Certo.
Perché sennò non so chi mettere sotto pancia.
Certo.
Mi hanno detto, sei tu che lo devi dire a noi. No. Da 1 a 6 non lo puoi fare questo conteggio. È 0 proprio. C'è un affare grande per il quale ci dovrebbe dare che per due soldi padre come
Mi ha mandato un sotto pancia. Ma c'è qualcuno che mi dice cosa bisogna fare?
cioè glielo vogliamo dare un capito slide oppure
sia collegata Roberta con Zoom, giusto? Ok,
Abbiamo
perfetto.
fatto già il test.
Fantastico. Benissimo.
Possiamo andare anche a casa.
Scusate, allora posso andare. Bene, allora vado.
Guarda, la faccio io la traduzione dall'italiano al siciliano.
Ah, bello.
I cioffi praticamente.
Devo andare a un altro tavolo.
Questi tappi.
Ma
Tapposto. Questi tappi.
cioè da assaggi di disponibilità a figlio.
Eccolo, bello, ci piace.
Poi,
Quindi
se
avremo
non sei a parlare, ho 12
sotto pancia.
sottopagine. Siamo 20 minuti in totale.
Non dirmi niente.
E non so ancora se non usate
E allora mi pare proprio di dire che siamo in bolla.
allora, qual è? Mi preoccupo poi chiacchieri ieri.
Ieri sera veramente è stato... Ieri abbiamo toccato il tocco. Io ero stravolta.
Già biscotti e sasso.
Esatto, sì. No, cioè, era carino, però insomma, diciamocelo. Il computer, ah, ce l'ho. Ah, questo è quello sfigato che muove.
Ti do un pezzo di nastro.
Aspetta, è che sull'altro che giù c'è la spugnetta.
E glielo metti dentro la spugna.
Sì, è più... dovrebbe funzionare. No, secondo me un po' di nastro, se ce l'hai, è utile. Riciclato. Perfetto. Allora, questo va qui.
Allora, salve, buongiorno a tutti.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome at this masterclass. We have just ended a conference on sustainability organized by EQUALITAS, and now we have prestigious companies who have told about their stories, their roadmap to achieve the EQUALITAS certification. And here we have the representatives from the wineries which we've met here, who are going to tell us about their wines. And they will tell us about the stories behind their wineries and how they decided to have this little certification. And there are also some foreigners who have the English translation, and we can speak in Italian. So it's no representative from Feudi Di Gregorio, and try to replace him as well as I can. And start immediately with the first winery, Gualberto Ricci Gurbastro, who is going to present Franciacorta Satin, right? Yes, I have the task to break the ice. Gualberto Ricci Gurbastro is a winery in Franciacorta, and today we're tasting a few wines from various regions of Italy, but we all have in common the culture of sustainability. Each of us with our own distinctive features and approach to sustainability. Of course, this is a common approach that we have with the EQUALITAS, that is to say, all-round approach of sustainability, both from the environmental, social, and economic standpoint. The one we're going to start with, and I assume that little by little it will be served, but as wait for the wine, I'd like to say that Ricci Gurbastro is a family winery. I represent the 18th generation, and we are one of the historical wineries in that territory. Father Gualberto was one of the founder of the DOC in 67 with the first regulation, the first rule book. In any case, our is more ancient and older, with labels that date back to 1885 that we have in our archive. We have 32 hectares under vine. We are very proud because we have 88 of our vineyards that are our own, which we own, so that we can ensure we can control almost completely our production supply chain, our production chain. This is fundamental because this is an winery and sustainable winery, and this allows us to monitor and all these sustainability requirements, both in the vineyards and then in the cellar. And we make about 200,000 a year in the three designations, Corta, Corte Franca, and SPT. We will use Franciacorta Satin, if I'm not wrong, a Magnum, so with a slightly longer age than usual. Generally, we when it comes to Franciacorta, we talk about wine made what we call Franciacorta method, which is bottle re-fermentation, second fermentation, and we try to use terminology that can be confusing as a production system. So we say Franciacorta for wines that we make in Franciacorta. When it comes to Satin, it's a very unique wine because Satin wines are the wines that you can only find in Franciacorta. We are the only ones who make that in Franciacorta. They represent the essence, so the most beautiful identity of Franciacorta. We use just berry grapes for Satin. We don't use Pinot Noir even though it's admitted in the Francescorta rule book, we use just Chardonnay for wine or Pinot Blanc. In this, so we use only Chardonnay, and this Francescorta that is made at a lower pressure. So instead of 6 atmospheres, we use 5. So, and we have the brut dosage, so with some residual sugar, and at least it spends 24 months. So tasting this glass.
Tranquillamente. Beh, questo è un vino che diciamo che può essere abbinato con crudi di mare.
This wine goes well with fish, follows milk, mozzarella, and again, like sea, for instance. It has an intense, persistent booze, and on the nose you can tell there are a few fruit green plums to pear, which is typical to Campania.
Ritrovare delle sensazioni balsamiche di mentuccia.
And also balsamic and wild mint hints.
Io non l'ho ancora dato, però mi fido di quello che...
I haven't tasted it yet. The fact sheet.
Devo assaggiarlo. Non ho ancora assaggiato il
I
francese.
have to taste. I haven't tasted the Francia ten, Mr. Riccicorbastro.
Per quanto riguarda la sostenibilità,
Now, in terms of sustainability,
l'azienda di San
Feudi di Gregorio
ricordiamo che è una società benefit dal
is a benefit company, and ever since 2021, when they received the EQUALITAS certification.
hanno un programma di sostenibilità
They have a
molto umano, una cosa
detailed and very humane sustainability program. They're very keen on promoting the aspects of their work. And in this company, the employees are sent to school, the sustainability school and work ethics.
un grande
And
impegno da parte del
also ethical handling of workers, which is a big commitment to also adhere to the standards that EQUALITAS has put forth concerning sustainability. I think the third wine in the glass. So it's your turn. I think we can move on. Since Antonio Capaldo, on behalf of Feudi San Gregorio, I would not take any questions because I might not be able to answer them.
Arriviamo in provincia di Siena adesso.
Okay. In Montepulciano, in the province of Siena, with us of the Salceto winery, the Salceto. Welcome. Salceto. Let me introduce. It's about Sangiovese quality and sustainability. Well, this is our motto. We're a benefit company. Yes, we've become one in 2021. I think you've met my colleague Carlotta, who spoke primarily of our sustainability. So what it means to be sustainable. Salceto has adopted a welfare plan in 2017, the first in the agricultural sector for its employees. So, as an employee, I'm very happy to be here today. I'm part of the sales and marketing department at Salcedo, and that is a way to confirm what Carlotta said before. And I will be telling you the same story, but with respect to the wine that is here for tasting. I'd like to introduce the company first and foremost. Now, Salceto is in Montepulciano, in the province of Siena, to the southeast of the province of Siena. It's a town of approximately 7,000 inhabitants, medieval town. that is very typical. And we were the first DOCG in Italy, and hence the importance of Montepulciano, the Nobile di Montepulciano, I think, still needs to be fully understood. And I keep saying that the Vino Nobile is a wine that is known and it's important, but sometimes you don't really realize what it is all about. It is often compared to Classico, Brunello de Montalcino. That when I say that Nobile has an identity of its own. This masterclass the elegant face of Sangiovese from Tuscany. To us, Vino Nobile is an elegant wine. The masterclass that was held in the last few days. It's so important for us to this idea of elegance, of nobility, which is part of all the values that stand in Montepulciano itself. Salcedo is a relatively young company. It was established in 1984. In the beginning, it was a farm with many crops, a multi-crop company, but then it turned into what it is today, a company guided ever since 1997 by our current and winemaker Michele Manelli, who took the old farm and then decided to go organic, because we've been certified organic from the very beginning, and then he went for sustainability and quality. Sustainability, and most importantly, Sangiovese. Why Sangiovese? We feel and we like to define ourselves as Sangiovesistes. So we really believe in the interest of, we really believe in Gentile, which Sangiovese that grows on the hills of Montepulciano, which is then found in a very fantastic way in the wine that get across from the one you're eating. The surface area, we have 60 hectares approximately, and we produce approximately 400,000 bottles. And the winery is just outside town center of Montepulciano. Our vineyards are at elevations of approximately 450 meters above sea level. The elevation contributes to the development of terroir notes in the wine itself. The Nobile today, obviously, it's the Nobile di Montepulciano, Annata and Base. Our flagship. It's the most important wine we produce at Salcedo, also in terms of numbers. And to me, this is the most representative wine of what I've been telling you so far, the fruit, because this is a full reflection of Sangiovese, the aromatics, which are well identifiable. At the time, you have the terroir of Montepulciano that is very perceptible. We're saying that it is influenced by several factors. One of them is the soil, clay, which factor and tannins to the wine. And then you have the influence of Lake Trasimeno, and so it will also display a nice minerality that develops during the ripening, and then have a continental climate of our own. These are the three elements that characterize the climate at Montepulciano. In this case, the vintage is 2019. The year was cool, also because of the influence of a very climate. It's something that prepares this wine for future aging. There is an explosion of red fruit with a few earthy and growth notes, and the minerality that you feel as if the tannins are dry and linear. What we like Sangiovese is that truly it is acceptable wine. Consumers appreciate it, wine lovers appreciate it. It's a wine that, in terms of pairings, I would go back to what colleague from Ricci Corbastro said this is a food perfect wine. We don't have specific pairings that we go back to, but we get to talk in terms of a wine that goes well on different dishes and different foods. In terms of aging, this takes 18 months of Livonian oak, large casks of 74 hectoliters each, and then it will spend some time in barrels and 6 months. So obviously, we mentioned we are vinified Sangiovese, but this is 100% type of Brugnolo Gentile. Going back to aging in oak, we have decided to reduce the amount of oak to make this wine better than it used to be, and at the same time still elegant. And then back to sustainability. Before I come to a close, for sustainability, you have our bottle of in front of you. It was a very important achievement in the history of Salcedo, because we were the first winery to have a carbon footprint certified to ISO 14007 for individual bottles. In other words, we adopt ultra-light bottle that we have developed with a glass mirror that would have a positive impact in terms of carbon footprint and packaging. The first carbon footprint was measured in 2009, and the Bordolese Toscanella bottle was released in 2013. You're also sufficient from an energy standpoint at the moment. We've been so since 2011. So last year we celebrated our first 10 years at the off-grid winery from the first off-grid harvest. And these are all steps forward. Of course, we've always been organic from the very beginning. And that has helped us become more sustainable. That was like the goal. It was instrumental to getting what we have now. Okay, are there any questions? No, I don't think so. Okay, so thank you, Claudia Notario of the Salcedo wineries. And from Tuscany, we're going to go.
It's still warm in Sicily, like in Milan. Well, today it was raining down in Sicily. Claudia Piccinini, Quality Assurance and Food Safety Manager from Duca di Sala. So today you have a Nero d'Avola. Yes, Nero d'Avola, 100% Nero d'Avola. This is the main variety from Sicily. Let me make a short introduction of the further winery, Duca di Sala Paruta. We are in Western Sicily, and we have wineries. We have two in the province of Palermo, close to Palermo, in Baia and Casteldaccia, where we make still wines and sparkling wines. And then we have in Marsala, we have our fortified wine, i.e. And less like Vincenzo Florio made it when he founded in 1833 this beautiful winery, which we tried to manage with all the history and tradition that it has behind the shoulders. Today we're going to taste the most important, if not perhaps the most important wine made in Laccia, Nero d'Avola, 100%. This is the most important Sicilian variety. This wine was first 1984, thanks to the technologists who believed a lot in Sicilian varieties. It was the first Nero d'Avola put in, which was bottled when in Sicily only wine in bulk was for wineries in northern Italy. Thanks to the technology, who bottled the Nero d'Avola for the first time. So this opened the to the vitivini culture which we know today. This is called the Sicilia, the designation that all the diversity of the vineyards are in central East Sicily, close to Catanisetta in Riese, which is particularly notable for red berry grapes. Rodavola is very prosperous. And we use the so-called yellow trade system. So grapes are hand harvested in the third week of September. And after alcoholic and malolactic fermentation, the wine is French oak, new and old French oak barriques for about 18 months, which imparts the wine notes and vanilla notes. And then it's aged in for 6 more months before being put on the market. 2018 vintage was certainly luckier than 27, which was very tough. 2018 had rainy winter and mild summer, and this made it possible enough water to have perfect happening in July and of these grapes. The tannin is soft, so of course present, but soft, very velvet. And this is a very elegant one, and with evident structure and a nice full palate. We suggest it with meat, grilled or braised red meat, and also with ripened cheeses. But it's also a very great. It's also a great Mediterranean wine. Thank you very much. We are drinking, but you're talking about nice pairings. And are there any questions? I don't think so. So all the wines have been appreciated very quietly. And now let's travel over to Puglia, which is very close. Well, for Puglia,
Così a quest'ora, non prima. No, a quest'ora precisa.
lunchtime.
Ma adesso tutto il
Set the table and all sorts of food because Apulian food rich. We have Francesco Di Antonio, President of Torre Vento, Apulia, in the province of Bari. And today you offer a Castelmonte Riserva di CG. First of all, Torre Vento. Vento is a winery that is run by the Antonio family, and this winery has been present in Puglia for 2 centuries. And we have both the various activities. So it's a family that has this group, including wine business. Certainly, the wine business is the sector to which they devote more passion, and there is more perception of sustainability, because with the Torre Vento winery we have established great interpersonal relationships with the local community, so much so that the Torre Vento winery has been sustainable and EQUALITAS certified since 2017. Why is this? Why are bringing this wine? This is not the icon of the winery, and it's not the premium wine. It's an wine, Vigna Pedale 27, because Pedale stands for wine, a sort of scientific document of the Puglia region and for Italy as a whole of Nero di Troia descent. Reckless choices of my neighbors in the 70s and 60s was them eradicate these vineyards. That was very insane. And then I was told that I was the crazy one from Asia, but I recruited about 10 people who were specialized in pruning, and then we traveled over Murgia at the of Castel del Monte, and we made the so-called muscle selection. That is to say, we collected the bud, these vine. We planted 57 hectares of vineyards in 83 and 84, and we started bottling the first Nero di Troia 100% in 1990, such as which is Vigna Natale. The sustainability point, this represents already the recovery of a wine-making tradition that was about to disappear. And so this is the heart, the wine heart. And there are 450 slaves of Nero di Troia on the market, so we have to say that this is a bad idea in the end. Also because I'm very proud to see today is the representative wine of the elite of Apulian wines with Primitivo and Negro Amaro. So 40 years ago to be absolutely successful. This is a wine that people like, and that is successful and can be paired and can be enjoyed also by young people. For instance, fresh Nero di Troia is pleasant, and then also more the Nero di Troia managing tannins correctly, because tannin to be made with just regular winemaking technique, eliminating the peeps, and then aging in large casks, and this is kept in large. Let's say that it takes about 4 years of aging in the various of vats, containers. So if we can tame this wine aging potential. This is so interesting. And look at the color, the fresh, bright color, and can tell you, because this is scientifically proven, that this color will hold the next 10, 12 years. So the coloring capacity is definitely extraordinary. So Vigna Pedale, so thanks to the effort made by the family I'm representing here, Nero di Troia has a great aging potential, so it can be longer and durable. If we taste it, this was had already 4 years of aging in the casks and years in the bottles. So certainly you have you perceive the note of undergrowth, spice, and also it's very consistent. The more you put in the bottle, the more it evolves beautifully. So it's made at a winery, as we were saying a couple of hours ago, that pays a lot of attention to social sustainability, and open to, for instance, with prisons, detention centers, but then all is done to enhance their territory and history, because since the Middle Ages, the third Frederick II of Spain came to Apulia, and on the way to the eastern Monte, and on those hills we have this wonderful vineyard, and these vineyards have been there since the 13th century. And therefore, this variety is no longer a Cinderella, but become a reference variety in its across the world. Thank you. Thank you, Francesco De Antonio, President of Torre Vento. And now, let's see if there are questions. I don't think so. Be quiet. I have tried to present Verdi di San Gregorio. And now I would like to thank you for your participation. Wait, there's a question. Let me what the real painters do.
Buongiorno, grazie di questo
Good
momento.
morning, and thank you for this tasting. Probably I lost us to sustainability appeal, Duca di Salaparuta and Vento, and I wanted to more information. Are you Irene Forni, a journalist?
Grazie per la domanda. Io sono andato veloce perché ho parlato in lungo e in largo giù al convegno.
I've spoken about sustainability already, but I will try to summarize and give you a quick refresh. The Torrevento Winery has 50 people, and we make some bottles, 600 hectares. We are located in the rural park of Upper Murgia, and we weren't forced to do that, but decided to do that. We were amongst those who promoted this rural park. It's probably one and only rural park in Italy. I'm telling you this because since I live in a park, environmental and economic sustainability is to be given for granted. Of course, you can't make wine and destroy the territory where you live. And this also applies to accessibility. That's a choice of the company. For over 30 years, we use sun power, wind power, and we don't use gas. We have sun in and in southern Italy, and perhaps all over Italy, to generate power. And I said this morning, 30 years ago, there was a lot of zero, the red tape, and now we have a lot of and subsidies for photovoltaic panels and wind farms, and these are nice things. This be timely. Of course, we are a reference point in the social economy of our territory. We have also some volunteer associations, disabled people. I don't add more, otherwise I should repeat what I've said this morning. So we share with them their values, we help them, and so the company also welcomes these people. And also with Mano Libera, a project with prisoners who work with priests in a community to the winery called the Comunità San Vito, where have been able to learn and to smile again. And of course, they, for instance, they make a taralli and fresh pasta, and so they also have a salad family. And then we have other social activities that we have time to dwell on. The economic asset, the social asset, and the asset are all essential. If there is no ethical and social aspects, the environmental and economic assets don't make sense. So sustainability means you shouldn't be selfish, you should be altruistic, and support also grow by supporting the community. I've just said, but we could spend hours on this.
Sono stato abbastanza sintetico perché non voglio tediare.
Allora, nel frattempo, prima di...
Very well. So before talking to Claudia Notario go, and so you cannot ask Cantine Salcheto any question because she had to leave. And Claudia Piccinini from Duca di Sala Paruta. Can you tell us more about your sustainability project? Well, consider that Duca di Sala Paruta isn't surrounded by vineyards like many farms. We are in a semi-urban area. However, we are and because our brands have been in existence since 1994, and Florio Marsala was first made in a lot of history behind our shoulders. And so Luca di Salaparuta is working in close connection with the local territory. We support a non-profit association called the Levier dei Tesori, which in October opened the doors of monuments, historical buildings, and other beauties in Sicily. And so Duca di Salaparuta decided to support this association, which makes it possible for citizens to enjoy these monuments that are closed and cannot be visited by the residents, also by the tourists. And so Bagheria, Marsala, towns become like open museums thanks to this project, so that we can experience origins and see all our beauty. And so with Le Vie dei Tesori, we support this project. So to support these cultural initiatives.
Ci sono altre domande?
Are there more questions?
Voi volete fare delle domande a
Have you got any questions to them?
E viceversa.
No, of course I'm joking.
No, facciamo la classifica. Così in generale, vi sono piaciuti i vini che avete
Did you lines? Definitely. And so I'd like to thank you all for sharing with us these wonderful things, for telling us about your history, your sustainability goals, and so remember that the prestigious wineries represented here are all certified. Thank you to the president of EQUALITAS, Rich Corbastro, who is with us, who is there at the back of the room. Thank you for participating in tasting, and now
a quest'ora si aprono i le
now we will all go to lunch. Thank you very much.
Milano Wine Week.
Nice Milano Wine Week, and have a nice rest of the day. Thank you. Thank you to the speakers. Allora, il prossimo coso dov'è che sono? Mi sembra giù.